say thank you to everyone who's joined us this afternoon to engage in this very important discussion. Our panelists, our viewers, and members of Congress who are on this call. Over the past several weeks, we have seen a public display of outrage. We have not seen this in recent history. As a matter of fact, every single state in the United States of America and multiple countries throughout the world, we're at a moment in history that we must say, where do we go from here? The scream from the people, the heat of the street, as some has called it, cannot be ignored. This fight must move us into a direction of rooting out systematic racism across the country and institutions in order for Black Americans to have a real shot at getting ahead. I often remind people that there is no one ethnicity, religion, or culture that makes a person an American. It is embracing common values and beliefs and laws and policies of a democracy that makes us Americans. And so what we're hearing from the streets is what we witnessed that was so horrific is not the values of America. And we must respond to that. When my colleagues and I just, established the Black-Jewish Relations Caucus, we did so because we wanted to raise awareness about racism, bigotry, anti-Semitic, and in this society, and to advocate for joint concerns. During the Civil Rights Movement, we know that the Jewish community was locked literally arm in arm with us to fight against racial discrimination. And this has been my major concern, is that we have a new generation of the Jewish community and the Black community who don't really have that in their history. It's not as relevant. Well, guess what? We've been called to action again. And it's now time, and I see these young people in the street, my young African Americans, my young Jewish community, really saying, no way, this is going to be acceptable in our America. This is a time for the Jewish community to stand with Black America. The times have found us. We didn't look for this. We didn't form a committee and say, we're going to stand up. The time has found us. And it's now time for us to deliver fundamental change in America.
To the members of the Congressional Caucus on Black-Jewish Relations, and especially co-chairs, Representatives Lawrence, Wasserman, Schultz, Hurd, and Zeldin, thank you for inviting me to speak with you today. Thank you also for your very strong bipartisan statement last week on the murder of George Floyd. Since our founding in 1913, ADL has worked tirelessly to stop the defamation of the Jewish people and to secure justice and fair treatment for all. The moment that we find ourselves in has highlighted and exacerbated long-standing racial inequities in this country. The coronavirus pandemic feeds on existing disparities and has had a devastating impact on Black and Brown communities. The lynching of George Floyd has motivated widespread protests against the excessive force and police brutality targeting Black people and the racist systems and structures that have always persisted in the United States. This historical moment demands that we not only say that Black Lives Matter, but that we show it. As the mayor just said, I think we all sort of feel that this is a point of inflection. The duty is to make sure that it's not just a point, but that inflection continues. The time for action is now. This action is being guided by Black communities, but they cannot be tasked doing the work alone. We must all dedicate ourselves to dismantling systemic racism. We can't allow extremists to take advantage of the moment to promote their own agendas. And we must not allow anyone to create divisions between the Jewish and the Black communities as we collectively do the work. Lifting up and centering the voices of Jews of color is an essential component of that work. This is a Black-led movement for justice. To that end, ADL and its 25 regional offices are joining our partners and allies in a variety of coalitions and initiatives around the country, amplifying their voices and demands, and putting our particular expertise and resources in the service of their leadership and towards our mutual goals. Not least, we are focusing on educating and training members of our own Jewish communities to recognize and effectively work against the ways in which racism pervades our society and its institutions. So we're committed to working with you all and with all of the organizations at this table to do the work of collectively dismantling racism. That's how we manifest the deeply held moral conviction that Black lives matter.